In Memphis, nothing comes easy, and that's exactly how we like it. This is a city built on hustle, on heart, on grit. And at Carway, our rides are built the same way. Tough, reliable, ready for the grind. No games, no gimmicks, just Memphis-style service. Real, honest, and built on trust. Where grit meets grind, you meet your next ride. Carway, grit, grind, and Pink Beetles. In Memphis, we know a thing or two about resilience. From the grindhouse to the Delta, we protect what's ours. But when pests invade your home, it's time to fight back. Grade A Pest knows how to handle what crawls, flies, and bites. With local experience and guaranteed results.
I'm Reggie with Grade A Pest Control. We service the Memphis metro area. That also includes DeSoto and Fayette County as well.
Grade A Pest has the entire Mid-South covered. So if bugs and pests put you to the test, let Grade A solve your problem. Bluff City Media presents the Two Buck Sports Show with your hosts, Rusty Buckets and Uncle Buck. Now, let's get to the show.
What is up, everybody? Happy Thursday. This is the Two Buck Sports Show, proudly brought to you by Fanduel Sportsbook, and I got my guy, Evan. Hey, it's been a long time coming to get him on the show. Got him with me today. Evan, how's everything going, buddy?
Everything is going smooth, Rusty. Again, I appreciate you having me on the show. Like you said, it's a long time coming. We've been talking about this for like a few months, and I guess it just worked out today. So we got lots of good stuff to talk about today, so I'm super excited for today's episode.
Yeah, man, we've done some post-game bounces before. We've been in each other's comments, hanging out, and it's been a long time. And Drew is out today. He's got some big wigs, hot shots, something in there. They've got a meeting from 10 to 1, which he said basically means they're going to meet from 10 to 10:30, and then they're going to have a long lunch after that. I'm like, It must be nice, a nice little work meeting like that turns into a lunch, man. It must be nice. So Evan decided to hop in and rock with me today. It just worked out. I appreciate it, man. Again, thanks for being here. And like you said, we got a lot to talk about today. A lot happened last night. A lot happened today. And, I was kind of locked into some Ja-lusional debates yesterday on Twitter with some folks just about the franchise, about the team, about Ja. And then almost like the bat signal goes up, we get a McMahon article that comes out on ESPN.com, Evan, that we got to talk about right now. Yes, sir. Over on ESPN.com, Tim McMahon released yet another article about Ja Morant, talking about Ja's kind of, I guess, like instead of a meteoric rise where it goes up, we've had a cataclysmic fall off the cliff with Ja Morant in Memphis, Evan. And I haven't had a chance to talk with you about it. But, it looks like the Ja Morant era, for all intents and purposes, are going to be, it's parting ways with Memphis. What has been kind of your take on that? How it's been handled? What direction you see this going? Like, I want to get your thoughts on that before we dive into the article.
Yeah, overall, my word is frustrating. My word is frustrating. I hate that, of course, over these 7 years that Ja Morant has been our first superstar, and just over the past 3 years, we've had this up and down relationship with him, with no point of rehashing history of everything that has happened.
Sure.
So the first word is frustrating. We have our first superstar that embraces the city, and the city embraces them. So you hate to see it kind of going downhill. When it comes to just this year, I haven't loved how the franchise has been handling it, especially the second half of the season. Of course, his last game with us against the Hawks in mid to late January. I can't remember the exact date. and then we shut him down, and then we heard the reports that we shot him at the deadline, couldn't get the deadline happen. Then reports that we didn't allow him to do the end of the season jersey giveaway. So I thought that was a little too far. Like, I understand the franchise is clearly going into a direction.
Yeah.
But he's still on the roster. He's still on the check. So you still want to give that respect to a guy that has given his blood, sweat, and tears to this organization. Yes, he has not handled everything within the organization great, but he's still a person on your roster that still embraced the city. So I haven't liked how the franchise has really handled the second half of the season. But at the end of the day, it's a business. So I am for the Grizzlies going in a different direction. Hopefully we get a high draft pick in this upcoming draft so we can give the keys to the next guy that comes in. But I'm for it. That doesn't mean I've loved how the franchise has handled it the second half of the year.
And I think that's a good place to be. There's mistakes on both parts. The problem
100%.
is if you try and go out and say on X or wherever you get your social medias, they just basically say that, hey, listen, this whole thing has not been handled well. Neither side has been perfect, but Ja Morant is to blame for a lot of what's going on with this. You're painted as a Zach Kleiman apologist, or the Grizzlies are paying you. And I'm like, Kenny, where's my check, dog? I can't get paid by the Grizzlies to say this stuff. But, I mean, you're right. The franchise did do some things different. We'll never know, like, what truly went on behind the scenes, whether, like, who's to blame, what communication. We'll never truly know. I also can see the franchise not wanting to put him on a mic and saying, saying, live with it. Like, y'all got to worry. I don't care how y'all feel. Y'all got to worry about how I feel. Yeah. And Ja has proven to be like the anti-Marshawn Lynch. I said this yesterday or the other day on the Two Buck Sports Show. We're like, Marshawn Lynch could get away with being short, being, distant, being weird on the microphone because he was out producing his ass off for the Seahawks and taking to the Super Bowl and running over people and being beast mode. Ja Morant's doing the same things and then wearing the same type clothes, albeit more expensive than I'm wearing, to the Grizzlies games. Like, we have basically the same view of a Grizzlies game as a spectator. And so I kind of see both sides of it. And I'm kind of nervous to log on to twitter.com today and spend much time on there, Evan, because we know what the Jalusionals are going to do, right? They're going to spin this article and just say, oh, this is McMahon, hating on Memphis and hating on Ja. Ja's innocent, blah, 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 especially on the heels of what Scoop B said when Scoop B came out with the article saying that Ja Morant wants to be here. Two things can be true. I truly believe Ja Morant and his camp told Scoop B they want to be in Memphis. That's the right thing to say. They probably do want to be in Memphis because they know they can get away with buffoonery here in Memphis that you can't get away with in San Antonio, Miami, Dallas, literally anywhere else. But what are your thoughts, right? With everything, there's two sides to every story, and the truth is somewhere in the middle. McMahon's article is saying that Ja's been telling people across the league that he's done in Memphis. Scoop B's article said that he wants to stay in Memphis. Where do you land between those two? Are you one side versus the other, or are you more in the middle?
I feel like I'm more in the middle because, like you said, two things can be true. Ja Morant can love the city of Memphis. Ja Morant can love living here. He started a family here, but it's different with the business side of it. Like, you're a professional. It's different loving the city that you live in, and it may not be right with you from a professional sense. And that's why I feel like Ja Morant is. Of course, we've seen reports where Scoop B and other guys have said that Ja Morant wants to be in a situation where he just simply wants to prove himself. Yes, he loves the city of Memphis, but clearly he may not have that opportunity here going into next year. So he wants to have an opportunity to prove himself and say the guys that want him to play his way and how Ja Morant likes to play basketball.
Yeah. So
those two things can be true. He may not want to move, but he understands when it comes from a basketball standpoint, his future is not in Memphis. I feel like everyone, except the Jalusionists, have accepted that's the fact. So, like I said before, I hate to see it. Of course, I hopped off the Ja Morant train probably a little later than everyone else on the Blood City Media Network because I was trying to hold on to the rope as long as I can. But I just feel like all parties are just kind of came to terms with it's going to be a very, very bad breakup. I don't want to say bad breakup. It's going to be a breakup that's happening this summer. So it's a matter of time at this point.
I couldn't agree more. And Ja Morant says all the right things. He says, I want to be here. I've got a logo tattooed on my back. That should tell you everything you need to know. But if somebody words only go so far. People have to prove who they are, prove what their mettle is, prove what they're about. And if you look at Ja Morant's performance on the court, off the court, there hasn't been anything proven to me that he wants to play. There's there's rumors and stuff of like a wide range about his on and off the court behavior, locker room malcontent, all the things that we don't need confirmation of. You can see that spill over on the court. I was out, for me, the breaking of the damn moment, I was in Ja Morant's corner until I was in the building on Halloween night when he quit on this team. In the most mentally soft thing I've ever seen. You get held accountable at halftime. Evan, you're an athlete. I was an athlete. I had coaches that would crack down and yell at me and come down on me hard. Like, to me, and I'm sure for you as well, that brings out that next level. Like, hey, I'm going to go prove him wrong. I'm going to go prove that I can do this. What did Ja do? He stood in the corner holding his shorts and pouting like a petulant child. And I hate, I'm not trying to be aggressive because I'm not mad at the guy. I love Ja Morant as a person. I love what he's done for this franchise and for this city and for our basketball team, Evan. But his actions definitely spoke contrary to what his words are saying. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, 100%. I believe it was Sane's episode with Scooby that Scooby said that he believes, and people within the franchise believe, Ja Morant is, if he wants to go out and play basketball tomorrow, he could have played basketball tomorrow. But it was contrary rumors, whether it was Ja Morant saying he doesn't want to play or the franchise not allowing him to play. It's a lot of things through that weeds. But I still think that if Ja Morant said, hey, bump y'all, I want to play basketball tomorrow because I love my teammates, I love the city of Memphis, yada, 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 we would have seen Ja Morant play the second half of the year in some capacity. You wouldn't see the things where he's throwing up the deuces to everybody on the way out. You wouldn't see the antics like him praying up to the rafters. Like, I get, he's a very expressive guy, but I feel like that's a little more performative than what it really. It's just I don't know about you, but I see that as a little performative. So I don't really like those kind of outward things because I'm not gonna call Ja Morant a liar. Like, he doesn't love the city of Memphis, but I feel like being that he is the big man on campus in the franchise, if he legitimately wanted to play basketball, I feel like we would have seen him at another time because his excuse was he couldn't make a cross-court rap pass with his elbow, and that's what bothered me. I really feel like if that was the problem, I really think he could have played. Like, he could have played if he really wanted to. So, yeah, it's just we've been on this up and down seesaw thing where actions don't mean up with words for the entire season, really for the past 3 seasons with Ja Morant, unfortunately. So that's why we believe it's just time to just not mend the bridge, but the opposite of mend the bridge, just break it off. That's it. Just keep it there. So a clean break, if that's an A Cuff coming in or a Wilson or a Fleming, like whoever these guys in that come in, hopefully we have a star that's completely bought in. So we don't have a Halloween situation ever again. Because like you said, that was for you and a lot of the Grizzlies fans, that was the waving the white flag for y'all. And I can't blame y'all at all for having that because you can be disgruntled with a coach all day and not liking the management. But it's a different thing quitting on the guys, the four or five of the guys that you're on the court with every night. Yeah. And it's hard to come back from that.
That's it. You quit on the name on the front of your jersey. And I will always support that. Listen, like my favorite athlete of all time is Zach Randolph. I supported Zach Randolph. When he left, I still supported the franchise. It's well known in a lot of circles. I stand for Jaren probably harder than most anybody on this network and wanted him to stay. But he's now gone for the Jazz, and I'm still repping Memphis on my head and, on my chest. Like, I'm a Memphis guy through and through. This idea that Ja Morant leaving and the franchise needs to go ahead and sell or move or tank or whatever, is asinine. Like, we were fine before Ja Morant. We'll be fine after Ja Morant. Like, we just want guys who want to be here and want to play. I wanted Anthony Edwards to where when Chris Finch is telling him to pass the ball, he's like, nah, F it. This is what I do. And he's taking a 40-foot three to win a game.
Consistent.
He's like,
double team. Didn't care.
I mean, that's it. After the game, the coach probably was right, but this was my shot. This is what I do. That's what I need on this team. And instead, those two guys were kind of neck and neck for face of the NBA status. Ja decided to go one direction and Ant has gone another. And, I can put up with a bunch of DM and OnlyFans models and stuff that Ant does with that type of production. I put up with a lot from Ja Morant. And appreciate everybody being here in the comments real quick as well. King Meek says folks are going crazy on X. Jared says it's already kind of gone sideways. I defended Ja on Twitter and on socials and on shows for years and years. But there comes a point where somebody's true colors are eventually going to wear on you. And, when he leaves, he takes a large portion of this fan base with him, we'll be better off because I fully blame Ja, exactly. How about a good one?
Yeah.
I fully blame Ja Morant for breaking our fan base's brain, because everybody's like, there's still a huge, I say there's a loud minority that's still on his side and saying we got to choose Ja over ZK and the franchise and all this. I was having debates yesterday about Joe Dumars as a GM over Zach Kleiman, which is asinine. Like 18 years ago, you're dealing with a clown if that's what you're talking about. And it broke a lot of our fan base's brain. And so, Evan, I think you're right. A clean break is needed so we can hit reset. John, his camp can hit reset. And listen, I hope he goes and he's successful wherever he goes, except for when they play Memphis. I'll never root ill or wish ill on the guy. But at some point, we got to cut bait.
Yeah, we do. It's just, I was thinking about this when we were talking, and it's when you put it in a relationship standpoint, it's kind of wild. The 21-22 season when I was graduating high school, right? It's 2026. I'm about to graduate college. That's a very toxic relationship and that has not improved in 4 years. I think you have to have that breakup and just move on. When I thought about it, like wow, that's been 4 years since we've had like a promising season without like a bunch of BS going on. So it's like we put it like that, like it's just time to move on and hopefully hit that hard reset button, like you said.
We've all had those relationships in our life, whether it be romantic or friendship or family or professional, where it starts off really great. There's so much promise. And then over time, you kind of start seeing signs and it just starts going downhill. And somebody has to be the adult in the room and just say, hey, this isn't working out anymore. Ja Morant has proven he can't be the adult in the room. And for all Zach Kleiman's flaws, when it's time to cut bait, he cuts bait. And so I think
maybe too late. He does it too late sometimes. But he does. Yeah, but he does.
When he makes up his mind, it's over. And so as much as y'all want to, wail and whine and gnash your teeth on Twitter, he is basically gone, unfortunately. So, but that's enough Ja Morant talk. We talked about that dude way too much for a guy who doesn't contribute and play. We did have some games last night that directly impacted the Grizzlies, and a big announcement from Shams that we got to talk about next. Yes, sir. I am Rusty. This is Evan. We are the $2 today. Shout out to Evan for hanging out with me, man. I appreciate it. Yeah. And hanging with me today, we got some big news right before we went live, Evan, that we got to talk about. Shams dropping a tweet that the NBA and the NBAPA have ruled in favor of Luka and Cade on their Extraordinary Circumstances Challenge, the 65-game award rule, making both of them eligible for honors this season, such as MVP, all NBA teams, and many more, sources tell ESPN. Evan, what do you make of this, man? Looks like they're bending the rules to try and accommodate a couple superstars. What are your thoughts on that?
I think they made the right call, personally. I think Cade, more than Luka, not saying, just in my personal opinion, Cade has had like the better year when it comes to like elevating the floor of his team. Of course, the Detroit Pistons, number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, going to have home court advantage. So I feel like he deserves that All-NBA and MVP vote and all that. Same thing with Luka. Luka has been a perennial MVP candidate for maybe the past 4 or 5 years. So, it's just kind of business casual for him. So I think they made the right call. Obviously, with guys that deserve it, you want to put those guys in that position. And obviously, financially, it impacts those guys. So I'm a fan of it. We was talking about it before. When they initially put the 65-game rule in, I was a fan of the rule. I thought the number 65 was a little bit too high. Personally, I thought 60 was my number because I feel like missing 22 games. I said 55 to 60. I think missing 22 games, I feel like that's probably the baseline. Like, okay, you've missing a little bit too much time. So if that leads to Adam Silver and the NBA front office to maybe pushing back a little bit and decreasing the number, even though he already said he probably isn't, I would be a fan of that because I feel like the best 5 players should be All-NBA. The best 10 players should be All-NBA second team and so on from there. So I would hate to see guys like Cade and Luka not getting the accolades they deserve when they've been the best players consistently all year. So I'm a fan of it. What do you think?
I'm not. And I'm a Cade guy. I've got money on Cade winning MVP. I got him at plus 1,000 over on FanDuel, the official odds provider of Bluff City Media. I thought, especially when like SGA went down, Luka and Jokic went down, I'm like, man, Cade's going to walk away with this thing. And so the better in me, the degenerate in me is like, hell yeah, man, this is great. Like I chance I can make some money on this. And I am very pro players getting their bag. Like, I want Cade to get a super max. Like, I want him to get paid. Again, Cade is one of my favorite non-Grizzlies in the league. I love Cade Cunningham and his game and just how tough that dude is. And I don't miss Detroit games when they come to town. I root for the Grizzlies, but I watch in awe of Cade Cunningham. So as a fan perspective, like, I get that, but I also, I'm significantly older than you, Evan, and probably most people in the comments here. I come from a generation we didn't get participation trophies, right? Like, you had to earn it. In the NFL and Major League Baseball, you have to go earn the MVP. You have to be not only the best players in the league, but you have to play the most. Like, you have to prove it night in and night out. Injuries are a part of the game. And you hate to see it happen, especially Cade's was such a fluke thing, landing on a ball, getting a collapsed lung. Like, that just never happens, right? And so maybe like there's some wiggle room down to 60, but I'm not a fan of moving the goalpost, because if you start moving the rule for the exceptions, you're going to create, there's no glory. There's no honor in winning it anymore, because it's like, you know what? There's going to be an asterisk this year. Yeah, Cade and Luka were first team All-NBA, but they didn't quite get to the rule, right? It's like the same thing in Major League Baseball with all these asterisks, like around Barry Bonds' home run record and around Roger Clemens pitching and all this kind of stuff because of the steroid era. While this is not as egregious, this is bad injury luck. That's part of the game. Like, there are years where people get hurt. Yeah. Real quick, there are years in football and baseball where the best player got hurt, and then the second best player ended up winning MVP just because it's like injuries are a part of the game. What were you going to say?
No, my bad for trying to cut you off. But on your point, I agree in certain cases. When you was talking about players getting injured, another guy like getting that position. I remember the season when Nick Foles was leading the Eagles to the number 1 seed in NFC, and he was probably leading candidate for MVP. I think he got hurt like in week 12 or 13, and then Tom Brady ended up winning MVP because, of course, he played the entire year. So on those instances, I completely agree with you. But I just looked at Luka and Cade's stats. They both played 64 games. They both missed it by 1. My question to you is that one game going to decipher or sway of them being an MVP or All-NBA? Like, I don't feel like the difference is that substantial to not allow them to get those accolades when they played the majority of the games during the season.
So I've been out in corporate America for a while. I no longer am. I'm now an independent contractor. It is so much better. But in corporate America, like, if you have 5 metrics to hit and you only hit 4 of them, and you have to hit 5 in order to get the bonus, the pay raise, especially like you think about it in sales, right? Like the way sales works is they typically have like a lower commission or a lower salary. And then you can make, if you hit your target of sales, you can get a higher salary. Nobody's going to feel bad for you by falling 1 target or 2 calls or 3 sales short. You're not going to get I'm so sorry, here's an extra, $2,000. Maybe we don't tie the Supermax to an arbitrary 65-game rule. I'd be open to that conversation. But 4 accolades to me, like MVPs and all NBA teams, all defense, DPOI, those type things, there has to be a minimum threshold. Otherwise, we get another situation like Joel Embiid when he played like 20 games and won MVP. You know what I mean? Like, there has to be a minimum standard if you're going to give an award like a most valuable player.
Yes, I 100% agree that there should be a minimum. I feel like in extreme circumstances, because you gave the sales argument, which, yes, that is a true argument with sales. But with these guys playing basketball. And with sales, unfortunately, I don't see guys tearing their ACLs on the floor when they're trying to sell cars or something. Being they were playing basketball, something these have to become into consideration. Like, I'm trying to think right now. Do you believe Jaylen Brown's going to be All-NBA first team?
I mean, I think he could. Yeah, I think he should. Okay,
so you see, that's where me and you are different. I believe he would be second team, but with a guy like Jaylen Brown, should he get first team now? Being that, in my opinion, he didn't have a better season than Cade Cunningham and Luka Doncic, and giving him that first. Because, like you said, you don't want to give like guys awards like, oh, here you go, because you almost hit the point. But you also you don't want to give guys that don't deserve it or didn't play as well awards that they should not get. So I see it from the other side of it as well.
I hear you. And Jaylen Brown was top 4 in scoring this year. He was like top 15 or 20 assists. Like, he carried that Boston team in a way that nobody really gave him credit. And so maybe that's why I'm a little bit like more biased towards Jaylen Brown, because like our fans love to crap on us for how bad we are at tanking. The Celtics are worse. Jaylen Brown had a damn near MVP type season to carry this team and finish top 4 in scoring, carry the Boston team, and then you get Jason Tatum back on top of that. Now they're going to be dangerous in the playoffs. So I do and that's where this comes down to opinions, right? If we were voting on this, you wouldn't vote him on first team. You'd put him second, and he'd get a first team vote for me. I think that he earned it enough in my opinion, to be first team. And if extenuating circumstances happen and Cade and Luka don't meet the 65 game threshold, then Jaylen should slide in and they shouldn't get the award. But maybe I'm just an old curmudgeon and old man yells at clouds and this is how it's got to be.
No, I feel you. The best ability is availability. And Jaylen Brown was an Iron Man this whole season. He's been an Iron Man throughout his whole career. So when I gave that example, it's not that I'm trying to diss that Jaylen Brown. He's had a great year. But in my head, my All-NBA first team is Cade, Luka, Shea, Jokic, and Wemby. That's my 5. Me personally, I don't see Jaylen Brown be the first guy out. So that's why I brought that in to see would he in your eyes put in that position as well.
Yeah, I get that. So it's going to be interesting to see what this does. This to me, Evan, signals maybe a little change is coming to where there's going to be a lower minimum threshold. Maybe they do bring it down to 60 games. Maybe they bring it to 63. 60 is, that's 22 games you can miss. I personally like the 17. That's a good majority. Math is hard. So if you play 65 of 82 games, you've essentially played 80% of the games. That's a passing grade. That's again, we're not talking about third team. We're not talking about honorable mentions. We're talking about all NBA. We're talking about the MVP, the most valuable player. It should be held to a higher standard, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Evan thinks it could be changed a little bit. If y'all disagree, let us know in the comments both now and if you listen to it later. Any other thoughts on that? Yeah,
to your same point, 60 out of 82 games is 73%. I don't know what school y'all went to, but that's like a C for me. That's like a C. So when you put it like that, I can kind of see your argument, 85% to 73%. That is a pretty substantial difference, especially when it comes to standings. 5 games could be a lot. So I still think 60 a number, but when you put it like that, I could definitely see your point.
Yeah, because when I grew up, 70 was passing, 69 was failing, 70 was passing. So at 73%, you were just slightly above passing versus 80%. That's a B. That is the 79 was a C, 80 was a B, and it B. Again, is a B grade an MVP grade? No. But there's got to be a minimum threshold, and folks would absolutely lose their mind if it was 70 games.
Oh yeah, that wouldn't happen.
I feel like 65 is a good spot to land.
Yeah, I feel you. But we'll see what Adam Silver does in the offseason, because this is definitely going to the NBPA is definitely going to be on his case about trying to reduce these games for sure.
Buddy, there's about to be a lot of changes this offseason between the tanking changes they're going to make. What are they going to do with the Clippers and Kawhi and the tree planting issue, all the things coming up this offseason. It's going to be one of those pivotal off seasons in the NBA that we've had in a very long time. Well, hey, real quick, we're going to hit a commercial break. Got to pay the bills a little bit, give the sponsors some love. We're going to hit a commercial break. When we come back, we got to talk play-in. We got to talk about what happened last night. There was some good games, epic games, some good juju for the Grizzlies. But we'll talk about what we need going forward and what it does for our lottery chances right after this commercial break.
Tired of the same old fast food? The soggy fries, the frozen flavors, the meals that never quite hit right. Head over to Waldo's Chicken and Beer, where everything starts fresh and flavor comes first. Our chicken is fried in rich beef tallow for that bold, old-school crunch you can actually taste. Don't skip the premium homemade southern sides, fresh greens, hearty white beans, and creamy mac and cheese made to complete the meal. Bring your whole family. There's plenty of space to relax, plus a game room the kids will love. Catch the game on big screens, grab a drink at the full bar, and enjoy happy hour specials every day from 3 to 6, all day on Tuesday and Sunday. Waldo's Chicken and Beer. Real food, real flavor, made from scratch.
it makes me excited to see more cohesion. Because even last year, as they were building
coherency, can I be honest? It's
coherency, yes. And I know we're early, like you said, Gabe. There's only a few players on the roster. There's still a lot of roster to build. But through the couple of commitments, through the guys coming back, through targets like Colby Garland, I just feel like I see more of a vision. And I don't know if that is that penny adjusting, is that having a GM, is that having a staff? It's all of it's a culmination of all those things. And obviously Penny being in the position that he's in, that knows his back's kind of against the wall.
I think we've done this so many times with Penny Hardaway teams that you get that feeling in your gut, right? When those first few commitments start rolling in, what's that feeling in your gut tell you right now?
It tells me that some stuff is making sense here.
It's telling me to feel pretty positively about what's happening right now.
Into On the Bluff with Christian Fowler and Gabe Kuhn every Tuesday at 10 a.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
I do want to pose this question to you guys. Was this season that you guys just watched the worst Grizzlies season? I'm not talking about statistically. I'm not talking about anything. I mean emotionally. Like, mentally, was this the worst Grizzlies season for you? This was the easiest season. This was a very easy season for me to unplug for because it started off so fucking dumb. I'm going to tell you, last season irritated me more than this season did.
Yes.
If that makes any sense.
Yes.
Like, losing to the Nets early, having a team that was supposed to be ready to win.
Yes.
Dumb stuff. The offense looked pretty cool for a little bit, and then it just started getting goofy.
For a minute.
I was so frustrated with so many things last year. Like, I was going crazy on Twitter last year, bro. This year, I just been like, all right, bro, y'all got it. Like, I think still having the illusion that we're supposed to be a contending team, like we're supposed to be a top 4 team, and just seeing the whole thing, how it unfolded, and losing to every team with a pulse, and the coach got fired and all that, firing the coach going to the playoffs. Yeah, last year was dumb, bro. Last year pissed me off, bro. Like, last year frustrated me more than this year because I'm kind of excited about a new beginning.
Tune in to the Anthony Sain Show Monday through Fridays at 1 p.m. live on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel. Some dreams don't just come true, they come with 4 paws. At Puppy Dreams, we match loving families with happy, healthy puppies. From playful companions to lifelong best friends, your perfect match is waiting. And with our professional grooming spa, your pup will look as amazing as they feel. Visit Puppy Dreams today and meet the one who's been waiting just for you.
What's up, everybody? Got my guy Evan Hayes here rocking with me on the 2 Buck Sports Show, proudly brought to you by Fanduel and all those great sponsors you just saw. Guys, if y'all are watching this on anywhere but YouTube, you're missing out. The comments are popping off. We got some heated debates about Ja Morant. Does he belong? What should we do with him? Jaren's name's come up a few times. Appreciate everybody being here, talking through it. Jared's here, the whole crew. Wayno's in France watching this. So
Yes, he is.
If you ain't watching, if you ain't on YouTube chatting it up, what's your excuse? But appreciate y'all being here, as we did have a couple of play-in games last night, Evan, that directly impact the Memphis Grizzlies. We had the Orlando Magic with the 76ers doing the Lord's work, beating them 109-97, sending Orlando to a winner-take-all matchup with the Hornets, who, by the way, have beaten the Magic by 30 in their last 2 games. What were your thoughts on the 76ers taking care of business last night over the Magic?
Well, for me, it felt very weird because I can't stand the 76ers, but I ended up cheering them for last night's matchup, as you said, as they beat the Orlando Magic. So, yeah, it was a great game. It was very competitive, throughout probably the 45 to 44 minutes until, 76ers kind of pulled away. Of course, Tyrese Maxey, he's going to be the engine of that team. I have to call my own. I did not think he was going to be this good. Like, coming out of Kentucky. I thought he was going to be a pretty good player, but to be damn near a best player on a playoff team without playing with your opposing best player, like you have to give him credit for that. He had 31, VJ Ebsco, 19 and 11, Killer Oubre, Paul George coming from the depths of hell, playing well. Like it was great to watch. I've also not been a fan of the play. Like I personally don't like it, but when you're getting these games consistently on a nightly basis in these playoff games with this playoff atmosphere, you can't be mad at all. So I am glad Orlando lost. Dez, you had a great game. You had 34. Yeah. Shout out to you, Dez.
Yeah.
But keep losing. I hope the Hornets beat y'all by 40 again. So it was a great game. I'm happy that Dez played with. I'm also happy they lost because if they lose again, we get potentially another lottery pick. Two lottery picks in 1 year. We would love to see that.
We deserve this.
We do deserve this.
After putting up with Ja Morant. Kendarius puts in a comment here. Maxi's already better than Ja, my guy. Like, cause you know why? Because he plays.
I can't argue that. Like, I can't even be mad at. As much as I want to disagree with you, like he plays on the court. So
yeah, I mean, he's like you said it earlier. A player's best ability is availability, and this Magic team is so weird, man. I like Jamal Mosley. I think he's a good coach. That thing is just dysfunctional as hell, man. Like they didn't hit on De Silva like they thought. Like it hadn't pieced together. You know, Suggs is a good point guard. He's a great defensive point guard, as he had 3 steals last night, but he doesn't give you much engine on offense. It's wild that they traded like such a big like war chest for Desmond Bane. And then he might be the only one of this core left in Orlando after this offseason, right? Because they've already talked about a superstar wanting out if Mosley comes back. I don't think Mosley is coming back. Wouldn't be surprised if Taylor Jenkins landed this job. If he doesn't get Milwaukee, I think he's going to come here to Orlando. But, yeah, man, Dez was 10 of 16, 4 of 6 from 3 last night. This was playoff Dez that we were looking for here in Memphis. He just happened to do it in Orlando. And, again, Orlando did us the best thing possible by losing, facing the Hornets coming up on Friday night. The second game, though, this one is where it gets a little squirrely. Mm-hmm. So the LA Clippers lost to the Warriors last night, 126-121. Al Horford just kind of stole the show last night, taking over late, getting Steph the ball, clearing the way for Steph to go off for 35 and some benches Steph last night. Yep. The problem with that, Evan, is that now gives the Oklahoma City Thunder the 12th best odds for the number 1 overall pick. And it gets even squirrelier. I saw this morning, this tweet a little while ago. If the Warriors beat the Suns, and we all Grizzlies know we want either the Suns or the Magic to miss a playoff because we'll get one of those two in the lottery. But if the Warriors beat the Suns, the Thunder will have a 10% chance at a top 4 pick. 10%. Could you imagine adding a Debansta Boozer, Darren Peterson like that to the Oklahoma City lineup?
They're playing with devil magic. I don't know who doing it, but somebody in that dang franchise is doing some voodoo, some devil magic, some witchcraft, because they can't be getting away with this. They can't keep getting away with this, bro. If Caleb Wilson, if you give let's say they get the 4th pick, and let's say Caleb Wilson's the 4th pick, you give them another 6'9", 16 athletic wing that can play both ends of the floor, that can jump out the freaking gym, that can score from damn near all 3. Oh my gosh, I hate him. I hate him. I can't stand. I hate him.
I hate all the words you just said, because you pair him with SGA and Shat, they'll let Hartenstein walk so they can keep Caleb Wilson and Jalen Williams. Like, oh my God, like. Listen, basketball gods, if you're listening, you can't do that to us.
Please no. We can't have these freaky ass dudes. They need give them Nate Ahmed. Let him be a bust on the end of the bench, taking up money on the end of their bench. You can't have these guys running the NBA for the next 5 years, man. Like I can't, because I can't do it, bro. I can't do it.
No, you can't. But the Warriors did get a win last night, again, putting the Thunder in the lottery odds. So that kind of changes things a little bit, right? Like we got the Magic pick currently sitting at the 16th best odds. Grizzlies, again, are firmly in the 6th best odds for the lottery odds in the reverse standing. But currently Orlando sits for the 16th best odds, right? So for us, best case scenario would be, unfortunately, for the Suns to win, because that's going to lessen the chance for the Thunder, which that's just looking out for the entire NBA. I'm trying to do the Lord's work here for y'all too.
Facts.
And the Magic to get just boat raced by the Hornets on Friday night, which they can, because this Hornets team is really good. And over on Fanduel, Evan, you got some odds here. Early lines, the Hornets are a 3.5-point favorite in Orlando. This is a really good scenario for the Grizzlies. We need the Hornets to go down there and take care of business. Early thoughts. What do you think about this Hornets Magic matchup?
I personally think 3.5 is a little too generous. I think the Hornets are going to take care of them handily, just because last game, I think the Magic have the problem. They have the worst number one, well, one of the worst number ones in the league, and Paolo Banchero. Like, coming out of Duke, I never thought he was just going to be this great number one on a playoff team. And when you go 7 for 22 in a playoff game, and Desmond Bane is playing like your best player, no disrespect to Dez, we love you over here, but that's that they didn't bring Dez in to be the number one option on the Magic.
Nope. Paolo
Banchero is one of the most inconsistent superstars of the league, and I don't trust him with his back against the wall to turn the clock and become a great number one when the Hornets are playing with house money. They have all momentum on their side. They have a number one LaMelo that plays like he doesn't care, but seems like he plays better when he doesn't care because they just play wild all the time anyway. So I think the Hornets are going to take care of them handily, even though they're on the road. When it comes to my fault.
I was going to say, we'll talk about that game a little bit more. We dodged a major bullet there to help with that, with LaMelo Ball getting fined and not suspended for his antics with Bam Adebayo. He got a $35,000 fine for grabbing Bam's leg and essentially pulling him out for the rest of the game. Dodged a major bullet there because without LaMelo, that offense might sputter a little bit because he's just got it. Like, you talk about, like, if Ja Morant needs somebody to look up to, is freaking LaMelo Ball. Words I never thought I would say outside of maybe like his driving habits. But the fact that Melo has got his body right, something Ja Morant's never been able to do, got himself aligned with the organization and figured out this offense. Like, he's driving that shit, man. Brandon Miller is having an incredible year. That guy is, like, they're talking about some of the, the gun issues and stuff for Brandon Miller. If it wasn't for that, he'd be one of my favorite dudes. Like, if he hadn't passed off a murder weapon, you know what I mean? But, like, dude is an absolute killer. Con Knipple's fun to watch.
Absolute killer is crazy. Nah, I just caught the absolute killer is crazy. Nah, I'm sorry.
We ain't even talking about Miles Bridges, so we're gonna leave that one alone.
Let's just keep moving.
Hornets team is fun, and they can do it, right? Like, they can go win this game against the Magic. Absolutely.
Yeah, they can. And they're playing defensively. People don't talk about it. Defensively, they play really physical as well, which I love seeing them as well. They get up and down the floor very well. LaMelo is that engine for the team. Seeing like when they get on the open floor, he just has a bunch of options to throw it to, and they just play great. Kobe White is playing great down the stretch as well. Of course, he hit the big shot to send them to overtime against Miami. So yeah, I feel like Freudian slip.
Freudian slip by Rusty. Yeah, my bad. That's
funny.
My bad, y'all.
Yeah, that is a little funny. But yeah, I think the Hornets take care of business for sure. And I would love to see a Hornets and Pistons first round matchup. I feel like that'd be very amazing. Fun. That'd be fun.
Question here: would you take Paolo on this Memphis team?
No. Because I want consistency in my franchise, and Paolo Banchero is the opposite of consistency. We already dealt with one superstar who isn't consistent with his, not just production on the floor, with actually being on the floor. So I don't want Paolo Banchero on this. If he's a number 2, great. Like, if Darius Acuff or Cedric Howard turns into a bona fide number 1, or Zach Edey, and Paolo Banchero becomes that number 2, you can convince me. But as a championship number 1, I wouldn't want him on this team. No.
Yeah, agreed, man. I just I've always liked Paolo. He's one of my favorite non-Grizzlies, but he's basically Jerry Jackson Jr., right? Like, he's basically, like, there are things that we wished he could be that he never really like there's a world where Paolo Banchero is the next LeBron James. Like, that's his kind of game. But he just doesn't live up to expectation, much like Jaren. I'm getting called out for taking a jab at Ja. I didn't realize speaking facts and, like, things that are true is a jab at somebody. Like, I've lifted up Ja for a long time, and I've been in Ja's corner for a long time. So I'm being called out for taking a jab here at Ja. All I did was speak facts. Melo played a lot more than Ja this year. He got his body conditioned and played more games, and his team is in the play-in because of it. Not really sure how to mess that up.
And it's also the point of LaMelo was in trade talks as well, but he turns the narrative within his franchise and the media. Now people will look crazy to try to trade LaMelo Ball right now. Ja Morant, unfortunately, was not able to do that, and you see what's going to happen in maybe the next month, 2-3 months' time. So it just – I'm sorry, man. It just happens.
I wonder what the FanDuel odds would have been, Evan, on Melo being the one of the 3, Trey, Ja, and Melo. If I had to ask you which of those 3 was going to turn it around and improve and be a part of their franchise long term, what would the FanDuel odds would have been that it had been LaMelo Ball?
I wouldn't bet that. I thought I would lose my money. I'll put that like
plus 28,000.
Yeah,
it would have been
like
massive numbers.
plus
I'd have picked Ja
30,000.
Morant. I'd have picked Ja Morant every day over Trey and Melo. I would have absolutely picked Ja Morant. But here we are, April 16th, the year of our Lord 2026. And it's LaMelo freaking Ball that turned it around for his franchise.
And he's going to go to the playoffs where Ja and Trey are sending it home. So it's just crazy how the tables turn, man. So Rusty, exactly I don't think you're taking shots at our guy. Like, facts are facts. You can't be mad at the truth, man.
Listen, man. Facts are facts, whether they're positive or negative. Facts don't care about your feelings. And the fact is, the Hornets are fixing to take care of business over the Magic. We then have the Warriors at the Suns. Warriors travel to Phoenix. Phoenix is a 2.5-point favorite. When I made this parlay last night, I had the Hornets and the Warriors as the best ones to help the Grizzlies. I am now more educated than I was last night. If you want to bet that, you can take the Hornets and the Warriors on the money line. It's plus 251. But based on that message I read to you earlier, Evan, looks like we need these Suns to take care of business so that we keep the Thunder out of those top 4 spots, right?
Yeah. As much as I hope the Suns win, unfortunately, if I had to bet just with my mind, I don't think they're going to get it done. I think when you have Steph and Curry on your team, as Draymond said in his postgame interview, you have a puncher's chance. And I feel like playoff Steph is a really different animal. That championship pedigree is going to come through. Draymond Green had one of his best defensive performances of the season, locking Kawhi Leonard down the stretch. And I feel like Steph has like this infectious energy on the team. When he's shooting well, everyone else can freaking shoot well around him. I don't know if it's through osmosis or something like that, or he says a very good, he's very religious. He can say a prayer with the guys to let them shoot well. But yeah, man, Phoenix played well. Jalen Green played well in their game. Devin Booker played well. I just feel like one game to save my life, I'm picking Steph Curry over Dylan Brooks and D Book any day. So
we saw that last week, right? Or last year, right? Firsthand, we beat Dallas, who went on to get Cooper Flagg in the first overall pick. And then we faced this Warriors team. A bunch of us were out at a watch party last year watching it as the Warriors did Warrior things. And they are few. There are few people that I would bet on, like I'd bet on Steph Curry in the playoffs. That's an absolutely just phenomenal point, right? Like you just ran down the list. Like Devin Booker, he's been to the finals once, but he had a really, really good team around him. That's Cam Johnson, Mikal Bridges, like that team ain't walking through the door with him anymore. His running mates are now Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks and Mark Williams, and it just ain't quite the same team. And playoff Steph is different, right? Like playoff Steph is a whole different animal. The way he can lock in and got you 35 last night after he's been beat up and banged up all year. Hey, another guy who takes care of his body and gets it ready for the playoffs. How about that? But this Warriors team, I'm not going to bet against until proven otherwise. And so maybe that's why I've got the Warriors on the money line here. Until proven otherwise, I will always shade towards Steph Curry in the playoffs. That's a really good point, especially now that you got a championship pedigree all around him, right? I'm not saying they're going to make a championship run, but I think they make a run out of the play-in because you got Steph, who's won multiple championships. Draymond. You got Al Horford, who's won multiple championships.
He's won,
Yeah, he's got one championship. This dude is like they've got championship pedigree all up and down this team. And so I think that they take care of business Friday night, beating the Hornets on the road, beating the Suns on the road, sending the Suns home, and unfortunately giving Oklahoma City a better shot in the lottery.
Yeah, I would hate to live the reality with OKC gets another lottery pick that they could potentially be coming off another championship, but we will have to deal with that once we get there. But one thing, speaking of OKC, I really would love to see a Steph versus SGA first round series because I said this on my show on the No Bluffing on Monday. Yes, SGA had a great playoffs last year. Of course, they won a championship, but at least in my opinion, I would want to hear what you say in the comments. I don't feel like it was no series where he was going like shot for shot with another superstar, and Shea was like the reason why they won that game or the reason why they won that series. They won a championship last year because they had a fantastic team around him. They played great defense. They had multiple guys that could hurt you. I feel like, of course, Shea didn't have to prove anything. He's an MVP. He's an NBA champion, Finals MVP, obviously All-Star. But I feel like this could prove that he can go shot for shot with another gunslinger like Steph and come out on top. I feel like that would be very entertaining basketball. Now prove to me that Shea is as great as we already think he is.
So I agree to an extent. There's a caveat there. Their game is just so different, right? Like last year, the Thunder as a team won that championship. Like you had massive performances from J-Dub and Chet and Hartenstein, AJ Mitchell. Like a lot of guys had a lot of coming out parties in the playoff last year, and SGA was their leader. Still is. Like I'm not discrediting that. Steph is one of the coldest just shooters in the history of the league. SGA is, and don't hear what I'm not saying here. SGA is a good shooting, scoring point guard. He doesn't need to do all the flopping and flailing antics, but the problem is going to be hard to compare because so much of SGA's game is getting to the free throw line, is taking more free throws than field goals, and it happens night in and night out. I hear what you're saying, and I agree. You go beat Steph, that does something, and I think that there's something that can be said about that. But you have to be able to stop SGA, as Kadarius says here, of getting to the free throw line. A. B, you have to stop this Thunder team. I don't know that the Warriors have the dogs to do it, but I hear and I agree with your point. If SGA can go, I mean, that's a huge tick. Something the Memphis Grizzlies never could do is beat the Warriors in the playoffs. This ain't the same Warriors team, but that is a huge next evolution of SGA's kind of growth and development in the NBA, and kind of puts him in a whole different level of lore, to your point of beating Steph Curry for sure.
Yeah, I would love to see it. Well, personally, I don't think the Warriors are going to – I'm not saying they're going to beat OKC if they make it out the playoffs, but I feel like Steph is good enough to get you 2 games against anybody in the league. Absolutely. So if it's a 2-2 split somehow and it's a game 5 and they'll be – if this 2-2, they'll be in Golden State. Yeah. No, they'll be in OKC. They'll be OKC game 5. So if it's 2-2 split and SGA got to protect his home floor against a hot Steph, hey man, you never know what may happen.
It can get squirrely. Yes, it can get squirrely. It could, like Kadarius is right. I think it's a sweep. I think Oklahoma City in 4. But if Steph gets hot, and we've seen him get on generational heaters, this thing could easily go 6. I don't know if it goes 7, but this thing could easily get deep into a playoff series with a hot Steph Curry and 35 points in the play-in. If I'm the Suns, I'm super nervous. He's like what's his name? Goku, right? Becoming a Super Saiyan. Is he charging up to go Super Saiyan in this play-in game? We've seen it before. Yeah. I agree. I think that's going to be interesting. But even more interesting, Evan, as we start to wrap this show up again. I'm Rusty. This is Evan. It's the 2Buck Sports Show live at 11 a.m. Monday through Friday on Bluff City Media's YouTube channel. Give us a thumbs up if you're here. We appreciate y'all rocking with us. Comments have been popping. We've had over 200 people tuning in. Comments have been popping off. Appreciate y'all coming and hanging with us. The Warriors sent the Clippers to the offseason. We've also got the Heat in the offseason. It's going to be 2 very interesting franchises to watch for a couple of different reasons, right? Pat Riley's come out and said, hey, we're going after a generational talent. We're going after a superstar in the NBA to pair alongside Bam Adebayo. And I don't think they're talking about Asia Wilson. Right? The Clippers have a very interesting offseason coming up. What are they going to do with Kawhi? We still got that NBA probe that's hanging out there, right? He was kind of coy about what his future looks like. These are 2 teams that I think are going to have a very interesting offseason. What are you watching out for from these 2 teams as they head to Cancun to celebrate the season?
I believe on the Heat standpoint, the big fish they're trying to catch is Giannis Antetokounmpo. I feel like that's going to be the big fish for the whole offseason. I know Tim McMahon talked about in his article where Giannis is the big domino to fall, and then that's when the market of Ja Morant may elevate because they're trying to wait to see where Giannis lands. So I just imagine Pat Riley, even though people have questioned if Pat Riley still should be at the head of that franchise, but this isn't a Heat podcast, so that's not for us to discuss.
Right.
I feel like Giannis and Bam, at least in his mind, would be a great duo to put in the front court. I feel like most people would agree with that. So on their standpoint, they're going to go for broke on Giannis. And then I can see if they don't get Giannis, could I see them in the Ja Morant sweepstakes? I very much could. Would I want a return from Miami? You have to either put that on paper, but off the top of my head, I don't think there's a package in Miami that I would love as a Grizzly fan, but that's neither here or there. On the Clipper standpoint of it, I personally think they blow it up. I feel like this experiment with Kawhi has been going on they got there in 2019, I believe, right? They got there the year of the bubble. I think it was 2019 or 2020. So it's been about 7 years now. It's been about 7 years. And I feel like, of course, they shipped out Paul George earlier. Obviously, they haven't been able to win a playoff series. They've only been able to win one playoff series, I believe, in their tenure with Kawhi. They've missed the playoffs a few times. It feels like it's just time to just wash your hands of it and just keep it moving. Of course, Kawhi has a huge contract, so it's going to be a little bit of a
Just pulled
task.
that up.
Yeah, to try. Yeah, what's his contract right now?
So he's got 1 year left next year, and it's a $50,300,000 cap hit, and then he's an unrestricted free agent the next year. But we don't know if any of that's even going to be guaranteed pending the NBA's investigation into the aspiration and all that sort of deal. But it'd be a $50 million cap hit. As Kendarius said, he would take him in Memphis. Memphis will want nothing to do with that. When we're rebuilding with young talent and building around, I can tell you Zach Kleiman and them will want nothing to do with a $50 million contract.
Yeah, definitely not. Oh my gosh, no. As much as I love Kawhi as a player, even though he's just like Ja, he doesn't play enough. But when he's on the floor, he does. He has production. I just don't see
And Darius has a source that Kawhi is coming to Memphis.
If it's the Kawhi to Memphis Twitter page, I don't think that's a source. I'm making a joke.
And you got to stay out in the spaces, man. Don't hurt your brain.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's very toxic. Again, they're very toxic sometimes. But yeah, I think they blow it up. But like you said, being that it's the pending investigation, and I don't see them going through another year of experimenting Kawhi to just let him walk away in free agency. I feel like they're gonna want to get a package for him so they can start a rebuild because I don't know about you, but they have not been a contender in my eyes really since like the 2021, 2022 season, you know, so I don't really – they're kind of that no man's land. Like they're too good to be in a lottery, but they're also not good enough to be competing for a championship in the West. So we're competing for a playoff spot in the West. So I feel like it's time for them to blow it up. Yes, it was a great plan to watch Kawhi play well. He only had 21 points last night, but Kawhi, second half of the year, has been mostly available, has been playing well, so you love to see because he's a great talent. But I just don't see the Clippers hanging on to him for the foreseeable future, being that there's so much stuff up in the air and his contract isn't that great.
Yeah, 100%. Kawhi is ring chasing, as Wayno said. He wouldn't come to Memphis. He's going to go somewhere where he can compete and win. If that contract gets voided, maybe he can get paired up with Giannis in Milwaukee or follow him to Miami. Maybe that's a pairing that we see coming. But like there's just no way that he's going to come here. I like that's not how that's going to play out, unfortunately. Blunt Smoker here brings up a good point. Miami has been in the play-in for 6 straight years. It's where Miami and the Magic and the Sixers and the Hawks kind of live. But the Hawks finally broke out of that basketball purgatory where the Clippers are, where the Grizzlies are, and where Miami has been. Do you think that's more Spo is maybe past his prime? Is that on the players? Like, what do you think is keeping them in the play-in for 6 years? It's a great question.
Well, I mentioned it 5 minutes ago, even though we're not Miami podcast. Like it's Pat Riley. Like Pat Riley is one of the best like basketball minds probably in the history of the game. You know, he obviously won a championship as a coach and as an executive and a GM. So, but at the end of Father Time waits for no man, and Father Time has definitely caught up with Pat Riley. Like you have to understand how much detrimental like action you have to do to not make Miami, Florida a free agent destination anymore. Like you understand, like there's a lot that has to go against you for that to happen, and they haven't been able to attract a big name free agent since Braun and Bosh, if I can remember correctly. I can't think of another. I can't think of another big name free agents they've gotten, and being they haven't been able to get big name free agents, they haven't been able. Pat Riley either because he's too stubborn or he just can't get deals done. They haven't been able to trade for another star to accompany with the stars they already had. They got Jimmy Butler, which is great. But Jimmy Butler had to turn into a Super Saiyan, as you said, to lead that team to 2 finals run. They had to have Max Strus play out of his mind and Caleb Martin, like guys that are on the end of the bench on other teams or not playing playoff basketball on other teams. They had to turn to Super Saiyan to get to 2 finals runs. So I think it's definitely Pat Riley. I personally think Eric Spoelstra is the best coach in the league. Just in my personal opinion, if I had any coach to lead a team or a Team USA or a team against the Monstars, I'm personally sending Eric Spoelstra. So I feel like 100%. Eric Spoelstra is great at maximizing the talent that he has. Like with a team with Bam, no disrespect to Bam. Bam is not a number 1 in my opinion.
No,
like,
he's a 2. He's a 2.
He's a great number 2.
Absolutely.
But the fact that a team with Bam Adebayo has been your best player probably for a year and a half because they got off of Jimmy Butler like last year, or was it this year? Last year, my brain.
It was this past season.
Yeah, it was this past season. But Jimmy Butler didn't want to be there for the past year anyway. So with Bam Adebayo as your best player, still being competitive against these teams, I feel like it's great. So if I'm the Heat front office above Pat Riley gonna have to step down before the team is able to hit the heights that they could possibly get to.
That's well said, because he's not been able to build a team for Spo. Spo is not the problem, in my opinion. It's the fact that you've paired Bam with Jaime Jaquez and Tyler Hero, who's also not a number one. You've got a bunch of number twos. Like, Jaquez is a great bench player. I would love him in Memphis. Like, if there's a package out there for Ja Morant to go to Miami, we better get Jaime Jaquez back, because is he a star? No, but he is that glue guy that does, like, he would be loved in Memphis and would do really well here. But I agree. I think Pat Riley, like, there's some things need to happen. That was a phenomenal point. Like, Spo is one of the best to ever do it, but they haven't had the team for Spo. What are they going to do? This is going to be a massive offseason for them. Where do they go? I think that Kawhi could be a great number two if they don't get Giannis. Like, I could see them absolutely pivoting to Kawhi, maybe pivoting to Ja Morant from there. But they're absolutely going after the big fish in Giannis to see if they can pair him, because the Giannis and Bam front court, that's lethal for the NBA.
It is. I would personally, because I've said on my show, I said on your show, the Heat are my favorite team outside of the Grizzlies, because just the Heat culture. And when I was growing up watching basketball, that's when the Heatles were happening. So I just attracted myself to, like, the Miami Heat culture. I just love the way they run things. But if you can get Giannis, I would love that. I don't think Kawhi and Bam would work as good as people think, being that the spacing on that team wouldn't be great. Depends on who you have around them, and they're both very ball dominant guys. But I feel like Ja Morant and Bam would, if Ja Morant plays, obviously. I think Ja and Bam, big if there. I think Ja Morant and Bam would be a great duo. I would still, for me personally, I would like to talk about this on another show or in spaces or whatever. I would have to see the package outside of Jaime Jaquez, because I just can't think of that. Because when you say Jaime Jaquez, like, he's a great player, but we already have a connector. His name is Cedric Howard. We already have that glue guy. His name is Jalen Wills. So I don't see a Jaime Jaquez. Yes, would he be a good addition to the team? Yes. But I don't see him elevating your future of that team, being that he does the same thing as other guys would do. So that's why I would like to see additionally what will come with that package, because if y'all can, for me, y'all convince me on it, I'll be down. But right now, I just don't see it outside of Jaime Jaquez, that package being great for the Grizzlies.
Yeah, because I like Tyler Hero. No thanks. Like, there's not a lot of like team players on the team that I would want. As I let you go, you've been here for an hour with me, man. I appreciate you rocking with me today. Again, appreciate everybody in the comments. Last two things: Boozer has announced that he's going back to college for his sophomore year. Caden Boozer.
Oh, I'm finna sound like no. I was about to say no freaking way, bro.
Caden Boozer is going back to college for his sophomore season. So that opens up the door. Evan, I talk about it all, like my big board, people that I want that on this team. Cam Boozer's number one. Then I've got DeBansta and Caleb Wilson right there at number two. Keaton Wagler's number three for me. Where do you fall? Who would you take if the Grizzlies land a top four pick? Stay where we're at in that 6 to 8 range. And is there a guy, for me, it's Dalen Swain is the guy I would target a little bit later from Texas. Who are some of your draft targets before I let you go?
Yeah, our draft boards are incredibly different. We talked about this when I was in the city at Rusty's, not Rusty's, at Wayno's. You're
Wayno's,
Rusty.
Yep.
Yes, you're Rusty. At Wayno's art show. Yeah. If we get first of all, DeBansta is my top, but I don't think we're getting the one pick. So that's kind of go on. So personally, I think the only like just franchise shifting guys in this draft for me is DeBansta and Acuff. So that's but I feel like Boozer would fit with the Grizzlies great. So he'll be my number one when it comes to just being realistic guys that we can get if we get lucky in the draft. But I've said on my show, people know that. I'm going to stay on your show. Acuff, I think, is that guy that can really change his franchise. I feel like going from Mike Conley to Ja Morant to Darius Acuff is just a smooth transition of guards that can lead his franchise. Everybody knows Mike is my favorite Grizzly of all time, so that's why I have that analogy in my head. So if we don't get Boozer, because I feel like a Boozer Edie front court would be amazing. I feel the rebounding, the defense, I feel like it would be amazing. So obviously I would love that just off of fit. But I personally don't think Boozer is a best player on a championship type of prospect. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong if we draft him. Just from what I'm seeing, I don't feel like he has that franchise shifting game. I think Acuff does if you surround the right guys. right guys. And then outside of him, if we stay at that 6, I love Wagler. I wasn't a big believer on Wagler, but his NCAA tournament run has shifted my mind on that. So it would be outside of Boozer and A-Cup, be Wagler and Flemings. Those would be my guys, in the top 6 that I would love. If we get any combination of those guys, I'll be happy.
That's funny because you're obviously like a guard guy, right? Being a Mike Conley guy, you're a guard guy. I think Tomas Isolo's system, and he said this, doesn't need like an elite point guard. So for me, that's why I kind of went away from it. Of the point guards, I have concerns, as Francis talks about here. I have concerns about A-Cup's defensive play. Francis thinks they're way overblown. Obviously, you do too. I do think he can figure it out.
Yeah.
But Wagler's patience, if we do go guard, reminds me of an SGA. Like, I'm not saying he's SGA, but the patience at which he plays the game and allows the offense to kind of come to him and flow, I think that's a good comparison. I don't think he'll ever be SGA, but playing that kind of style. And then Francis asked this question. I've said this a few times, that I think a Paolo Banchero archetype is Cam Boozer, what Cam Boozer could be. He could be a guy that's like that's good in space, that can play in the post, that can get you buckets. All he's done is win at every level, average a double-double at every level. And my co-host normally on the 2 Buck Sports Show, Drew, wants the freako athlete that puts his elbow in the rim. We've had that in Ja Morant. It didn't work out. I want a guy that's just a patient bucket. And for me, that's Boozer and Wagler in this draft.
Yeah, I think Boozer is the most NBA-rated guy in this draft, and I think Paulo is a great comp from him. Like, they have similar body types, similar games, because Boozer, he didn't have as good as a handle as Banchero, but he has shown that he has made strides with his handle. So I would love that as well. But my only thing is, like I said, I don't feel like his ceiling is incredibly high to being an all-NBA caliber guy. And well, if we're going through this transition, like we ultimately think that Ja Morant is not going to be in this roster next year, whether it's this year, I feel like the next 1 or 2 years, we need to find our franchise guy. And let's say we bring in Boozer, I don't feel like we have our franchise cornerstone. Yes, Edie is great. Yes, I love Cedric Harrell. I've talked about that a lot. I love Gigi. But none of those guys, to me, scream face of franchise number one. I feel like the reason I say A-Cup, because I feel like he's just an offensive engine that you can surround your team around that can elevate, because we just saw what he did at Arkansas. Arkansas had no business winning the SEC tournament. But through his play and his way of elevating guys around him, he led them to an SEC tournament win. I feel like he can do the same thing in the Memphis Grizzlies uniform. Yes, I think his defensive concerns are a little overblown. Is it a concern for me? Yes. I feel like he can get better defensively, but I get it. I bet if you surround him with a Cedric Harrell, with a Jalen Williams, I wish we had Jalen Williams on the team.
I wish we had Jalen
Wells, Zach Edey, and more wing defenders. I feel like we could kind of mask his deficiencies a little bit. So that's what, and another guy that we haven't mentioned, and you brought up him early in the show, Caleb Wilson. I know a lot of people I personally don't love Caleb Wilson. I may be in the minority. I feel like he's going to be a great prospect, but I feel like he reminds me so much of a guy we just had. He reminds me of Jerry Jackson Jr.
I've been saying the same thing.
He reminds me of Tripp. As much as I love Tripp, a lot of times Tripp wanted to make me pull my hair out when I still had hair. Ooh, it's just he's a more polished Tripp coming out of Michigan State. That's exactly what he is.
Shoot. He can't shoot like Jaren could.
Exactly.
And that's the problem. He doesn't have a jump shot. I like Wilson, but I would prefer Boozer because of all the points you made earlier. I kind of go to push back. I do think he'll be an all-NBA player. Do I think he'll be an MVP type caliber? No. Maybe, I think he could be first or second team all-NBA, and especially next to a Zach Edey with a Ty Jerome, getting him the basketball, creating space, Gigi helping create space for him as well at the three-point line, because Boozer's a good three-point shooter. I honestly, what this conversation is telling me, Evan, I don't think we're going to go wrong with any of these dudes. Like, there is a lot of game-changing picks. You mentioned Kingston Flemings briefly. You talk about a defensive dog. Like, you get a guy like that at point guard. Like, there's a lot of guys in this top 10 that I don't think we're going to go wrong with any of these picks. For me, and I'll let you say yours and we'll get out of here, the two that make me the most nervous are Darius Acuff and Caleb Wilson. Those are my two that make me nervous. Who makes you nervous in the top 10 before we get out of here?
Nervous, I feel like it would be Wilson. Makes me nervous. I don't think we're going to get him because I feel like he's going to be a little bit too low, but I don't think Braden Burries is that great of a prospect. I feel like Braden Burries is like our worst case scenario pick. If we fall, like, I want to knock on wood saying this, if we get like pick number 8 or something, pick number 9, that's when like a Brandon Berries could be more of a conversation.
Sure.
I feel like he's a really good college player. I just don't see his game like completely translating to be like an all-star level NBA player. So those are the 2 that make me the most nervous, that if we did get them and they're not showing me great promise in summer league, I'll be like, did we make the right draft pick? Yeah.
That's solid. That's solid, man. Well, hey, Evan, this is so much fun. I can't believe we waited this long to do it. It was a ton of fun. Appreciate you hopping in here with me today, man. Tell them where they can catch you on your socials and your shows.
Well, you can follow me on Twitter as the lower ticker says at E11 Hayes. Of course, I am the co-host of the No Bluffing Podcast every Monday around 5 o'clock. We're still trying to get the time together because Chris has a very busy married job, kids life. So shout out my boy Chris on that. Instagram, I'm Evan Hayes. I also write for Beale Street Bears, their fan side network. So I should have another article coming out in the next few days. That's everywhere you can catch me. Again, appreciate Rusty for having me on. And that's all your boy got.
I think we can all agree here. No Nate.
I don't need any volunteers on my team. Jermon Mason, you've won me over because I really didn't like you at first. You was in Tennessee. I don't want any volunteers on my team, including Nate Emmett. Heck no.
No thanks. No thanks. But for Evan, I'm Rusty. Drew and I'll be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central right here on Bluff City B's YouTube channel. Give us a thumbs up on the way out the door. Go be a friend to somebody who needs a friend, and we'll see you back here tomorrow on the $2 Sports Show.
Thank you for listening to the $2 Sports Show. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. We'll see you back here next time.